Alabama's head coach Nick Saban has been at the helm for 17 years. But signing day this week, well, a first, at least a first at Alabama. And that's when Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., the son of Dre Sr., signed to play at Alabama. We're going to talk about little Dre, what he brings to the table, and the legacy that Alabama has and Nick Saban has rolling here at the capstone. Hey, before we get into that, though, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Roll Tide, everybody. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Make sure that if you're not already, you like and subscribe. Great to have you. I'm Mick Gillispie on the socials at Broadcaster Mick. All right, let's talk about it. Signing day was another big success for the Crimson Tide. Would have been better. Lost some guys that they were going to flip late because of NIL money, but they still ended up with the number 2 class. There's still some players out there that could eventually come to Tuscaloosa, and don't forget about the transfer portal. But Alabama with a great haul, and of all of those guys, and there really are a lot of exciting prospects that are, some of them practicing, like the guy we're going to talk about here, at Alabama already as the Crimson Tide gets set to take on Michigan in the Rose Bowl. One of those guys that I think a lot of us are intrigued by is the son of Dre Kirkpatrick. I guess it's Kirkpatrick Sr. now, right? He played at Alabama 2009 to 2011. He was a shutdown corner. And Sr. Went to the NFL and played for the Bengals. Great career there. Also the Cardinals and the 49ers, and did it really well. He was great at Alabama, and he was really good in the NFL as well. So Alabama on signing day out of Gadsden City brings in his son, and that's Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. or Little Dre. And I'm going to throw Nick Saban up here. He talked about him a little bit in his press conference, and I think it's definitely worth hearing what the coach says, and then we're going to talk about him.
Well, I think that's the first legacy for Alabama, not necessarily the first legacy for me. I coached Mark Ingram's dad, at Michigan State, but the first generational legacy player that played for us at Alabama and now has a son playing here. I think it's great. His dad's been a really good ambassador for the program, was a great player here, had a great NFL career. So you really appreciate that part of it. But I know how proud he is of his son and what his son has been able to accomplish, and his son to have an opportunity to come to Alabama.
Yeah, and I think it's exciting for all of us, too. I mean, we remember when Dre Sr. was there, and his son has been fantastic. And you talk about a player that comes in, he'll be in the secondary for Alabama. He was a 3-star commit out of Gadsden City High, same school that his dad played in. And I talked about this on signing day. As a broadcaster for County High, we played Dre Sr. I was calling the game, and he had just the most incredible interception touchdown return, and then did a somersault into the end zone, got a big penalty, and they missed the extra point, and County High won the game. But you could tell, I mean, no one threw the ball his direction. They made that mistake, and then he made him pay. So Kirkpatrick, a cornerback, obviously excited to pick Alabama, and I'm sure that it really wasn't even that tough of a decision. He did fake us all out like he was going to go to Missouri. Auburn and Arkansas was in there as well. But it's cool to kind of get to this point where Alabama actually has guys who their dad played on the team. And to think about that, all those years ago, and the legacy that Nick Saban has left, it's really I'm sure humbling for him. Now this wasn't the first time that Saban coached one of his former players' sons, and most famously would be Mark Ingram, whose dad played for Saban at Michigan State, and of course he came to Alabama and was a Heisman Trophy winner. So, you know, it is special. I mean, and these guys are normally, you know, different level players just because they grow up in the game. And then also, you know, the ability that, you know, obviously you get from genetics, you know. I think some of us say, well, you know, look, my family's, you know, family of musicians. I didn't get any of that, but the other people in my family did, and it's amazing to see what they can do. And then obviously with Little Dre, he comes in with, you know, just all kind of ability. He ended up with 57 tackles, 3 for loss, 5 interceptions, 8 pass breakups, a forced fumble his senior year at Gadsden City High School. And then he also, which I think is really intriguing for Alabama, is in an area where we've talked about it this year, where you would love to have someone that can come in and make a difference, and that's punt returns, right? Kickoffs and punts. He's scored 5 touchdowns, and he's got over 1,000 yards. So that's another area where he may be able to help Alabama sooner than later. That's something that you definitely wish you had this year. We've talked about that before on the shows. But Saban was asked again. He talked about him a little bit more in the press conference. So I'm going to throw it back up there. We'll hear what Coach says and then kind of wrap this up.
Well, they're different people, you know, I mean, but they're both good people and great family. I don't like to make comparisons. I don't think that's fair, but you know, Little Dre is a mature guy that kind of knows what he wants, and he's a very competitive guy. And his dad was, you know, had a lot of those same characteristics, and that's why he became the kind of player that he was.
So there's Coach Saban talking about Little Dre and his father, both Alabama players now, which is just exciting. But in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, and I probably should switch that around, Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game, but however you want to look at it, Little Dre was all over the place in this game. I mean, just getting things done, making plays, and just an exciting type of guy. And it is Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. Got it right. 2 interceptions, had a punt block, forced and recovered a fumble to go along with 6 tackles for Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. in that Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. So this is exciting, man. These are the kind of guys that Alabama has built this program on. This is a legacy player, someone that we're all really excited about seeing. And then to hear Coach Saban talk about him, it's definitely going to be one of those things. He's already with the team. He was one of the early enrollee guys that we'll be keeping an eye on, you know, so maybe forget about the stars and all that stuff. This guy's got it in his blood, and I'm excited to see what his career turns out to be. And then he's going to get a chance to play for the best in the history, right? So safety, cornerback, whatever he's going to do in the secondary on defense, maybe return kicks. This is going to be fun. Hey, guys, what's also fun is hanging out with you and talking Alabama football. If you're not part of what we're doing here, make sure that you like and subscribe. We're going to take a look at some of the other guys that were highlighted on signing day and what they bring to the table. So stay tuned here. And then, you know, coverage on this Rose Bowl game against Michigan. We'll start really digging into that as well as we get closer. Once we get past Christmas, then all of a sudden, I mean, it's dead ahead. So it's coming our way. But thanks for hanging out. Roll Tide.